What's the wildest thing you've seen going on at a party you were at? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Number 10. All at the same party. 3 large girls in the tub together. Someone crashing through the glass coffee table. A fire on top of the stove that someone tries to put out by firing a gun into a water heater next to the stove. The guy whose apartment it was eventually got sober and became wildly successful in town for a few years, then shot himself unexpectedly. That was a wild ride. Number 9. A buddy's cousin's parents were out of town for the weekend back in high school. The cousin was carrying a pistol on his hip the entire party with 50 people there. Nothing goes down. It's about 4 a.m. drunker than sailors and it's only a handful of us left. Another friend of mine finds a rifle in the closet and proceeds to laugh and point it at cousin. Cousin proceeds to return the favor. I'm sitting right next to him on the couch and all of a sudden his gun goes off. Everyone goes quiet, we all stare at each other shocked. Then the blood starts flowing. Cousin laughs and goes, "Oh, then passed out." He shot himself through his calf 2 weeks before he was supposed to go to Marine boot camp. Number 8. Not exactly party or even very wild. I went to a dance in a smaller town not far from the small town I lived in. I was vibing to the music when this cute little blonde asked me up for a dance. I say sure and we dance. After it's over I turn to walk off the floor and this big mountain of meat is standing in my way. Cue over loud rock and he says something. I can't hear him so I say what? He says it again and I still can't hear him. So I think, what can this guy want? Oh, I get it, he wants a smoke, so I pull out the pack, pull one out and hand it to him, whip out the lighter and light it up for him. He shrugs and walks away. So I go on. My buddy, who was standing nearby and was not deafened by the music, not standing right in front of the speaker like I was, looked at me with a grin and said, "Wow, that was cool." I say, "What was cool?" He said, "The way you dusted that guy off when he said he was gonna break your face for dancing with his girlfriend." I stopped, looked at my butt and said, "Really?" I thought he wanted a smoke, so being a peaceful kid I walked out of the place and went home. Number 7. I did a summer internship at NASA years ago. At a party one weekend, 2 physics majors got into an argument about string theory. I'm not sure if there was math involved, but there was definitely pen and paper and a lot of emphatic pointing. This is my kind of party. Number 6. At my first house party, this big Samoan dude was trying to use the stairs outside, but there wasn't actually stairs. It was like a thin wood beam placed where the stairs were going to be after construction that had a 6-foot drop-off on the sides. All we heard was a yelp, and next thing you know, he walks up leaning on someone's shoulder coming out the darkness, and he goes, "I'm blackout drunk, but it hurts to breathe. What happened?" Like, homie, you broke multiple ribs and you drank so much you still won't even remember that this happened. Number 5. Well, I was 17 at the time. A friend of mine was trying to hook up with this girl, so she invited us to her friend's party. It was way out from where we lived, but he was really keen to go there to meet her. Later when we got there, the party was barely happening. Just a small gathering, really. Anyway, we knew nobody, so we just waited around for the to arrive. As we waited, it seemed like busloads of people starting to turn up. I mean literally over 100 teenagers. Essentially, they all arrived at once. The place started to go off, music was cranking, people fighting, swimming naked in the pool. It was destined to get wild. All it took was for someone to break a window and the place essentially exploded. They started smashing everything to throwing billiard balls, couch went into the pool, ripping doors off the hinges. It got really bad when they started to burn furniture inside the house. We didn't know what to do, we didn't even know the owner. Apparently she passed out and knew nothing about what was going on. Worst thing was we were stuck there. We had a friend that was picking us up at 2 a.m. after he finished work, and it was only 11 p.m. We basically had to wait and watch the house get absolutely demolished. What's crazy is the police didn't turn up until we were leaving, so you can imagine how trashed the house got in that time. It was a beautiful home too. The funny thing was that we were meant to meet, never even went to the party. Number 4. Not wild per se, but one of the more hilarious moments in first year of uni. We're all drunk in someone's house when the front door slams open and one of my mates, who happens to live at the house as well, runs in dressed as a chicken, think Family Guy, with an actual chicken under his arm like a rugby ball. He's shouting, "Get out of the way / watch out," as he bundles past me and others in the hall and kitchen before exiting through the back door into the garden area. He jumps the wall into the lane. No more than 10 seconds later, an irate, presumably former chicken owner, runs into the house and shouts, "Where's the chicken?" Most of us are laughing/in shock and just point to the kitchen door. The guy goes out the back and I never saw him again. I wish we had phones with cameras so I could prove once and for all to my friend that this actually happened, since he can't remember it. Number 3. Not all that crazy, but it's a fun story. Had a house party with mixed friend groups. My friends and my roommates' friends. Most of us all knew each other well enough, but there were some stragglers. It was pretty chill until one of my roommate's friends started drinking from a bottle of liquor that one of my friends brought. Now, keep in mind, nobody had a problem with this guy drinking our booze. Everybody brought stuff to pass around, so everybody was drinking everything. However, my drunk friend from Eastern Europe randomly decided he had a problem with it and confronted the guy. My Eastern European friend is also built like a fucking tank. 6 feet tall and 250 pounds of pure, unadulterated muscle. So things start to escalate and we all start to get in between the two guys as tempers start to flare. There are like 5 of us holding back the big guy, telling him it's fine and he needs to calm down. The 2 dudes are screaming at each other when finally the smaller guy says something like, "Relax, dude. This is America." I just remember the European dude's eyes getting wide as hell before he screamed, "This is f***ing what?" as he proceeded to jump over 5 of us and Superman punched this kid right in his jaw. The party ended at that point because we had to take the smaller guy to the hospital with a broken face. 15 years later, "This is f***ing what?" is still a meme amongst my friend group. Number 2. Twice in my life, both times on 1980s New Zealand, I've been to a house demolition party. Once on a relative's farm and once through work. I'm a carpenter. Sort of bring your own beers and a sledgehammer type of thing. It sounds like a fun raucous night, but both times there were a lot of drunken injuries. The first one featured someone driving a tractor to the house and the roof caved in on a bunch of people. The second one ended up with a giant punch-up because someone crushed someone else's chainsaw. Ultimately, both nights ended with a bunch of pissed and injured people watching a house burn down. What we used to do on a more regular basis, however, was have a weekend party at my mate's dad's farm. We would buy any old car that ran from the classified ads in the paper during the week, pick up a couple of kegs, a hog to roast and sleeping bags and head over to the back blocks of this farm. Then we'd spend the weekend around with the sacrificial car, doing time trials around a pre-decided road, trying to jump it, trying to roll it, seeing if trees could be pulled/pushed down with it. When the pork was eaten and the beers were finished on the Sunday, we would blow up the car. This is what me and the guys I grew up with did for fun in 1980s rural New Zealand. It all feels so foreign now. Number 1. I think it was 2003 or 2004, but we had a high school Halloween party and some kids from our school dug up 2 bodies from the local cemetery and dressed them up as Darth Vader, and everyone was just chilling out with the bodies doing drugs and drinking. A couple of kids got arrested for desecrating a body. Alright folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us today. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your own story or thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video.